Today we're going to go over some questions from homework that you might have that will prepare you for the test. So on page 85, number 10, there was a question that a lot of people needed help with. So we're just going to go over how to read the question, find out what they're asking you, and write an equation. So the question reads, Katya wants to earn $1,500 this summer by doing yard work. Okay, so she wants to earn $1,500 this summer by doing yard work. She plans on working 125 hours, so 125 hours over the summer. Based on her plan, what is the rate? They're asking us for the rate in dollars per 1 hour. How many dollars per 1 hour that Katya must charge customers for doing yard work to earn $1,500 over the summer? Okay, so we're looking to write an equation that shows that Katya needs to earn $1,500 over the course of the whole summer, but she can only work, but she can only work 125 hours. So she needs to make $1,500 in 125 hours of work. So the question is asking us to find the hourly rate. So we're trying to find how much does she make, how much X does she make in 1 hour? Right? Okay, so let's see. We have $1,500 needs to be the total amount of money she makes this summer. She can work for 125 hours. And X is the rate per hour at which she gets paid. So we're trying to find the rate at which she needs to get paid in order to make $1,500 in 125 hours. So we're going to put the rate X next to 125, and then we'll solve for X. And we will get X equals $12 per hour. So that's how much money she needs to make. She needs to charge in order to make $1,500 this summer. Okay. Next part of the question. Katya also wants to enroll in a summer class at a local college. As a result, she will have to work 50 hours less than the total number of hours she had originally planned. So in the original equation, we had 1,500 equals 125x. So she needed to make $1,500 in 125 hours, and X was the rate of pay that we did not know. Now, the MCAS has changed the question a little bit. Now they have changed the number of hours that Katya is available to work. So she used to be able to work 125 hours. Now she has to work 50 hours less than 125. So she's only available for 75 hours of work. Now think about this. If she still needs to make $1,500, but now she only has 75 hours that she can work, the hourly rate, X, right here, is going to have to be higher, right? Because she needs to make the same amount of money in less time. So we're going to solve for X. And we get X, so the hourly rate of pay is now going to be $20 per hour of work. All right, and just like we thought, the hourly rate is going to have to go up, so we were right about that. In the next part, what is the rate in dollars per hour? So this is kind of what we've been finding all along, that Katya must charge customers for doing yard work to still earn $1,500. Oh, we just did this part up here. That's going to be $20 per hour under the new condition where she can only work for 75 hours for the whole summer. Okay, part 4. Write an equation that represents the relationship between X, the number of hours Katya will have to work, and Y, the rate she must charge customers to earn $1,500 a month, $1,500 in the summer. Okay, so in the first question, when we were trying to find how much she should charge per hour, when she was available to work 125 hours, we did 1,500 divided by 125. So we did total amount of money she needs to make that summer, divided by the number of hours she was available to work, and we got $12 per hour as our rate. Then Katya's situation changed. She was only able to work, I'm going to put a little dotted line here, okay? Now she was only able to work 75 hours, but she still needed to make $1,500. So she had to make $1,500 in 75 hours, and her hourly rate changed. It went up to $20 per hour. Okay, so looking at what we've done in the past in order to calculate the hourly rate, I think that we can make an equation that represents the relationship between X. And it's always going to be, I'm changing the color. Okay, 1,500 over X as the hourly rate. Wait, hold on a moment. So looking back at this example, we see that the total number of dollars that Katya needs to make in the summer is always divided by the number of hours that she is available to work, right? In here we have $1,500 divided by 75 hours, and then over here we have $1,500 divided by 125 hours. So we always have $1,500 divided by the number of hours that Katya is available to work, and that always gives us the hourly rate that she needs to charge in order to make that amount of money. So if we go back up to the question and look at the words that the question uses, let's see. X is the number of hours Katya will have to work, and Y is the rate she must charge. So we have all these things written down over here. The number of hours, as told by the question, has to be X, and the hourly rate, as told by the question, has to be Y. So our relationship is going to be Y equals 1,500 over X. And that is going to be the equation that represents the relationship between X and Y. Now in this part it says, explain how a change in X, or the number of hours Katya will have to work, affects Y, the rate she will have to charge customers to earn $1,500 in your equation from above. Okay, well, if this is our equation from above, notice that the amount of money that Katya, so this is our equation that represents the relationship between the number of hours worked and the rate that Katya will charge. So as we saw before, when Katya worked more hours, like in this scenario, her hourly amount that she charged was only $12 per hour. Meanwhile, when she could only work 75 hours, her hourly rate that she had to charge was much higher. So as X, or the number of hours worked, let's write this in a full sentence. As X, the number of hours worked increased, the Y, or rate she will have to charge decreased. Now, what do we know about proportions where one is increasing as the other decreases? They are inversely proportional. Okay, next question that people had a lot of questions on is page 86, number 1. Now, a construction worker received 2 deliveries of building supplies. Okay, so 2 deliveries of building supplies from a lumberyard. The 2 deliveries included 10 boxes of nails, which cost a total of $110. So if I look at my chart down here, I have my 2 deliveries of nails. These are nails right here. The 2 deliveries totaled 10 boxes of nails. Okay, yep, 5 and 5, got it. So 10 boxes of nails is $110. Okay, so the total cost of these 2 boxes of nails is $110. Excellent, got it, okay. Let's read the question. Write and solve an equation to determine N, the cost in dollars of 1 box of nails. Okay, so we need to find out the cost of 1 box of nails. Well, if 10 boxes of nails equals $110, because that's how much they cost, let's write a little equation. We'll just make B stand for the variable, and we'll get, hold up, I messed up, okay. We'll have B stand for the variable, which is number of boxes, and we get 10B equals 110. Divided by 10, divided by 10, B equals 11. So what is B when we just solved for? Oh, B is the cost in dollars of 1 box of nails. Okay, so the cost in dollars of 1 box of nails is $11. That will be our answer to the problem. Next part of the problem. Using your answer from part A, so the answer from part A, which was a box of nails equals $11. Create a system of equations that can be used to determine X, the cost in dollars of 1 sheet of plywood, and Y, the cost in dollars of 1 trim board. Okay, so I'm going to put this info up here in like a little extra box, okay? So I have this are going to equal $55 each, right? Because I know that a box of nails costs $11, and I have 5 boxes of nails up here and 5 boxes of nails down here. Now, let's make sheets of plywood, let that be X, because in the problem it says create a system of equations that can be used to determine X, the cost in dollars of 1 sheet of plywood. Okay, so they give us what X should be. And then Y is going to be Y, the cost in dollars of 1 trim board. So they tell us that Y is going to be trim boards, and X, let's use green for X, okay? Sorry about that. Let's use X is going to be sheets of plywood. So they want us to do a systems of equations, set up a system of equations that can be used to determine X and Y. So we already know how to do systems of equations. We're way ahead of the game here. So let's write our little systems of equations using the variables the problem assigned for us. We have 6. I'm going to keep with the color so you can see where I'm getting the numbers from. 6x plus 40y plus 55 equals 609. Second whenever they say systems of equations, I know I'm going to need two equations, or at least two equations, just so you know. So I'm setting those up right now. Okay, now remember we put our brackets around it. We do the coefficient trick. We bring the 6 down here, we bring the 8 up here. Now let's multiply through to each term. And we get, I'm going to put it over here so I have a little more room, okay? We're going to get 6x plus, oh wait, hold on. We're going to get 48x plus 320y equals 4432. Then minus, outside of the brackets, remember, 48x plus 120y equals 2832. Then I just subtract. I just subtract this bottom system from the top system. 48's cancel. I'm left with 200y equals sorry, I don't have a calculator. 6 divided by 200. We get y equals 8. Okay, so what do we do to find x? Remember, in systems of equations, we plug y back into one of the originals, right? So let's use the top original just because the coefficients are smaller on the x. Okay, so we have 6x plus 40. Y is 8, so I'm putting 8 in for y. Plus 55 equals 609. I add everything through. I get x equals 39. Okay, so I have my x, and then I have my y. Remember what each of these things stand for? X is the cost in dollars of one sheet of plywood, and y is the cost in dollars of one trim board. Okay, great, good to know. Now we know these things. We know that x for price is 39, y is 8, this is 11. Okay. Okay, so I'm taking this info from the chart. We have $39 per plywood. And we have, hold on, let me just double check. $8 per trim board. $8 per trim board. Okay, so the question is asking us, determine the cost in dollars of one trim board. Show or explain. Well, we already solved the systems of equations, so we know it's $8 per trim board. Easy enough. Now, this is an extension question. The contractor has an additional $200 to spend. She tells her assistant to order at least 5 trim boards. I'm going to underline that, at least 5 trim boards, and as many sheets of plywood as possible, with an additional $200. Okay. What is the maximum number of sheets of plywood that the assistant could order following the contractor's instructions? Show or explain. All right, so the contractor has $200 to spend. So the total cost of everything can't exceed $200, so I'm going to put it on the left of the equation. And then minus, we need to get 5 trim boards. How much does a trim board cost? Trim boards are $8 a piece. Okay, so we need to get 5. So I have 8 times 5 gives me 40. So I need to spend at least $40 on trim boards. Okay, so I'm going to do $200 minus the $40 that I have to spend on trim boards because I need to get 5. I'm going to subtract those and see how much money I have left over to buy plywood. So I'm left with $160. Plywood is $39 a board. So I'm just going to divide 160 by $39 per thing of plywood, and I'm going to get 4.1. So I can get 4.1 sheets of plywood. You've been to a hardware store before. Do they sell 0.1 sheets of plywood? No, they don't. So I need to get as many whole sheets of plywood as possible, which means I need to get 4 sheets of plywood. And that's the answer.